I want so much to welcome you to the Manchester, South Dakota dedication of the Manchester Monument, the product of so much effort and so many generous contributions by so many wonderful people. I was born in this town, so I have never left it in spirit. You know, my body may be somewhere else, but I'm always here in spirit. I was born right up on the corner in a grocery store, the back of the grocery store, Marx's Grocery at the time, and the folks had living quarters back there. And I'm one of what many people come up and tell me, I'm one of Harvey and Lucy's kids, and I indeed am. And we're here on the main street of Manchester nearly 4 years to the day after that massive F4 tornado came up from this direction, and it swept across this town. Some people say it even hovered here, and then headed toward the north, destroying some farms in its pathway. That storm could take away our buildings, but that devastating storm could not dampen our spirit. The spirit of Manchester is alive and well. And thank you for keeping that spirit alive. This is an exciting day. Harold and Loretta and Rex and Lynette, I think it would be a good time for you to all head out toward the flagpoles if you'd like. This is an exciting day, and for the past hour or so, we've had an exciting time visiting with friends, relatives, getting to know each other. It's been like one of those reunions we used to have regularly at the town hall. And for the next hour, we'll be dedicating this monument, which we hope will be here for the ages. Also, I would like to hear it from those people who currently live in Manchester Township. Applaud if you now live in Manchester Township. All right, we have some people who live in Manchester Township. Now I want to hear it from those people who have either lived in Manchester Township, or you have friends or relatives who have lived in Manchester Township. Anybody here who? Wow. Hey, that's just about everybody. Now, I want you to tell me in a loud voice, where are you from? Everybody, all at once, where are you from? Arkansas. That's what I thought. I thought that's where you were from. I know we have people here today from as far away as New Mexico, and we have some people here from Virginia today. Anybody who's here from a greater distance than maybe Virginia or New Mexico? New York, right over here. And that is, would you stand up for just a moment? I want you to know that this is one of the McQuirks. This is Colleen. Let's hear it for Colleen. All right. So we welcome all of you here, and I know many of you have come a great distance, and you have all kinds of travel stories to tell, I'm sure, along the way. The people of Manchester, as you know, are even today producing food and fiber that feed and clothe the entire world. That's who we are, and that's who we have been for a long, long time. We also have a lot of people from this community who are providing leadership in business, education, government, many other fields. People who grew up in this area who are making an impact on the world each and every day. This community has a constant impact on what happens far beyond the town limits of Manchester or the limits of the township. And this monument, as you might know, is in two parts. We have, of course, the monument pad here, and this is on the site of the old town hall. And then the other part of the monument is over here at the Old Town Pump site. And those were the two places, of course, where everyone had to gather. You know, if we needed water, because at one time that was our sole source of fresh water, we had to come to the town pump. And we needed our friends, so we would come to the town hall. And anybody remember all those dances we had at the town hall? Oh, yeah. Anybody remember that? And anybody vote at the town hall? You come up for the elections? I used to get to sit there while they counted votes. And it was kind of fun to see the two political parties sit there counting votes and finding out that somebody had voted for somebody else, you know. And that was always a lot of fun. And so we have this monument pad here, and this entire site that was built, of course, by Harold Yost, who we're going to honor a little bit later. And it's shaped like a semicircle, and that has significance because Manchester has always been a circle of friends and neighbors, but that circle has always been open to newcomers wherever they've come from. And they've come from all over the world, many times speaking many different languages, and they came to settle here in Manchester. So that's the significance of this site. So, ladies and gentlemen, speaking of spirit, I would like to ask Dick Poppin to join us right now. Dick, where are you? When you think about spirit, what could be more appropriate than to have the person who serves the Spirit Lake Church with us today? And I guess it's okay for us to even applaud the invocation. Ladies and gentlemen, the Reverend Dick Poppin.
Thank you. Let's pause together in prayer this day. Great God, we are reminded as we look around this place of the might and power of the forces of your creation. Drought and heat and cold and ice and snow have made these prairies sometimes harsh to survive upon. Raging winds and the power of a tornado have removed most of what was once this village. But we are reminded that you are greater than the storm, that you are greater than the collective economies that have driven some away. And we are reminded that your great spirit can move in people to allow them to carry the strength of old communities and former experiences into new places. Gracious God, allow the strengths and the depths of lives nurtured by this Manchester community to live on all throughout our land. Bless this day. Bless those who have spent hours and days and months in preparation, those who have designed and built this monument, those who have done all the background work that have allowed people to come together and to share great memories. Bless those old memories that are recalled this day, and bless the new ones that are made. In Christ's name, amen.
Thank you so much, Dick. Thank you very much, Dick. We are going to turn to flag raising right here, and in fact, the people you saw who were attaching and raising that flag were Harold and Loretta Yost, and Rex and Lynette Geyer and their children. Rex and Lynette, are you here? Where are you, Rex and Lynette? Rex and Lynette, would you come over here for just a moment and join us? These are their twins who were born about a week after that tornado came through, and they're going to be 4 years old in about a month. Is that right, Rex?
That's correct, on July 19th.
Yeah. And Lynette, how are the kids doing?
Oh, they're wild as ever.
This is great. Well, we are so delighted you're here and that you have raised the flag over this monument. And would you all now join us in the Pledge of Allegiance to our flag? If you'd all stand, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may applaud. And now let's welcome Jessica Bowes-Rube. Jessica, would you come on over? And Jessica is going to lead us in singing the first verse of our national anthem. And the words, just in case you need a reminder of what those words are on the backs of your programs. Ladies and gentlemen, would you welcome Jessica Bowes-Rube? This is the daughter of Jim and Jan Bowes.
Please join in singing me. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. The rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still
Jessica. Thank you, our national anthem. Now, if we could have members of the Township Board join us up here, and if we could have members of the Organizing Council of the Manchester Monument Advisory Board join us up here. And Jim is going to let us know after everyone is up here. I'd like to, I'm not sure who all is here today, but we have quite a collection. Members of the Township Board include Al Schoenfelder. They include Mark Strickler. Mark I know Mark is here, right? They include Mark is not with us. Hi, Al. How are you? And Ron Geyer is here. It's great to see you, Al. Hey, Ron. And we also have Rodney Perry, of course, who's right here, friend and neighbor, and Jim Bowes. And then we want to bring forth the members of the Manchester Monument Advisory Council. Jim, and is Jan with you? Jan, you're right over there. Jim and Jan, and Lauren Moore is here. I'm just taking roll right now. Harold and Loretta Yost, and I guess I'm on that. Gail Marks Everline, my sister, is also a member of that group, but she is not with us today. She couldn't be with us. She'd love to be here. And Jim, do we have a person we've identified to cut the ribbon?
You decide. Person?
If you'd like, sure.
Okay, go with the oldest person. Or do you want the other? Let's go with the first choice.
Okay. Herman Bloody, Herman Bloody, are you here?
Yes.
Would you come up here, please? And do we have the scissor?
It's right at the podium.
It's right here. Herman, would you come over around through here? Just come on up here. I want you to know something about Herman Bloady. His parents ran the filling station right across the street over here for a number of years, and then when my folks decided to go out of the grocery business, you and Herman and Dorothy bought the grocery business, and you put in a store over there. And we're going to have you telling stories later on, but a great history in this community. Ladies and gentlemen, our ribbon cutter for the day, Herman Bloady Jr., and I give you the scissor.
Thank you.
There we go. So here we go, right there in the middle. There we go. The ribbon has officially been cut. Herman, thank you so very much. And this monument is now and forever after open. And thanks so much to everything that our advisory council has done and members of the Township Board. Thank you so much for being here today. And you guys can find a place to enjoy the program. And thank you so very, very much. And now we would like to call up a couple of other people who deserve our thanks. That would be Todd Wilkinson and Sherry Sauze. Where are you? Shari and Todd, if you'd come up here. I want to tell you what Todd and Sherry have done. They're both from Wilkinson and Wilkinson Law Firm. When we were thinking about this project, we thought, how would we ever collect the funding, your contributions? How would we ever make all of those expenditures? And none of us on that advisory council wanted to touch a penny of funds. And we talked with Todd Wilkinson at Wilkinson and Wilkinson Law Firm in De Smet, and of course we've all known each other for a long time, and they generously offered their services. They have offered counsel to us along the way in this project, and they have also received all contributions. They've sent receipts. They've kept us updated. They have dealt with I don't know how many phone calls, probably an innumerable number of phone calls. So I think that this is not only a reflection of friendship with this community, but it's also a reflection of social responsibility and corporate citizenship. Ladies and gentlemen, let's first hear it for Todd Wilkinson. How about a hand for Todd Wilkinson? And Judy, do you have that? And Shari, I'm still working on the last name. It's Shari
Sazu.
Sherry Sazu. And Sherry and I have been talking on the phone and by email over and over again, and you found out you have a connection to Manchester.
I do. My family is from the Curleys.
No kidding. So you're, there are Curleys over here. Todd, thank you so much.
You bet. Glad to help out. No problem.
Well, it's just magnificent, and this is such a contribution, and I hope you and your family also enjoy this monument.
We very much will, and it's a great credit that you and
the crew that you put together were able to come together today from the start that you had a year ago and end up with such a wonderful monument and a wonderful dedication.
A miracle happened. And this is a small token of our appreciation for the firm, and we're giving that to both of you, and there are personal certificates that are coming to you in the mail. But we wanted you to have this for the firm. Ladies and gentlemen, Todd and Shari. A big round of applause for both of them. Now the next thing we're going to do, I'll bet I do. How are you? How about you introducing yourself?
I'm Andy Wallenstein.
This is Andy Wallenstein, who used to live up the street here.
When I lived here, the county went broke buying gravel because I tore up the road so bad in my car.
Now the truth is out. Now we know. Now we know. It's great to see you, Andy. Thanks so much. The Geyer family has sponsored this history pedestal and plaque, and of course we have Joyce Geyer, who's here. And Joyce, you've sponsored this plaque in loving memory of Richard Geyer, from Joyce, Ronald, Wayne, Jerry, Daniel, Bonnie, and Rex Geyer, the entire Geyer family. And that was so kind of you to sponsor this pedestal and plaque. You have many great memories of Manchester, don't you?
I sure do. Lived here most of my life.
Were you born nearby?
No.
Where were you born?
I was born down by Carthage.
Down by Carthage. And you're one of the Wallums, aren't you?
Yes.
And is Joy here today?
Yes, he is.
Where is Joy? Would you make your way up here when you can? Joyce, if you didn't know that, is one of the Wallum twins. She and Joy are twins, and this, of course, is the Geyer family. And I remember so well those great events we had out at that steam and gas show, Ron.
Yeah, we did. That was good times.
How did you all get that steam and gas show rolling? How did that happen?
A lot of hard work.
Oh, I'm sure. Well, how did that idea come about?
Oh, I guess Dad he collected, antiques for years and wanted to share with other people. Decided to have the show.
And Bonnie, are you the youngest?
I'm the second to the youngest. Rex is the youngest.
And Rex is the youngest. And then we have the two kids. We have the twins, who are really the youngest, aren't they? So coming back to Manchester must be a real thrill to come back and see life being breathed into the old town hall site.
Yeah, it sure is. It's wonderful to be here.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you please thank the Geyer family for their support of this wonderful Manchester monument, pedestal, and plaque. Thank you so very, very much. We appreciate it so much. And I think we've gotten some pictures already. So thank you so much for being here. Oh, and then we need to, here's Joy. Look who's here. We have the twins. These are the Wallum twins. Did you ever look very much alike, even when you were little kids?
They never called us identical.
Well, I guess there would have been a difference.
I always remember the town pump when I think of Manchester.
Oh, yeah.
I had to haul water for 7 of us, or 8 of us, I guess.
You hauled water for 7 or 8 people from the town pump?
Yep.
Oh, my goodness.
We hauled water for Nate and Grace Dow.
Did you really?
Smokey and I took turns, and we got a nickel for every pail that we hauled.
Now, we're talking about baby Grace here in Laura Ingalls Wilder's books. That's who Grace is, and you hauled water for them regularly.
They lived just 2 doors down from us.
Oh, my
just 2 houses down.
Oh,
right on the corner across from the church.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
What you're hearing here is living history. Another round of applause for the Geyer family. Thank you all very, very much. And it was in August 27th, in fact, 1961, when we had 150,000 people gathered right over here, right across the highway, for the Dakota Territory Centennial. And that was a huge event that drew so many people together, and everybody had a wonderful time. I was talking to Rodney the other day. It's classically known as the Gold Rush.
Right. And they needed somebody for security for the gold field so nobody robbed the gold. So they had the South Dakota National Guard unit from DeSmet come up. We left DeSmet and we had trouble getting on Highway 14 because the traffic was bumper to bumper from DeSmet clear to Manchester. And I was one of the guards at the Goldfield.
Oh my gosh, this is one of the guards at the Goldfield. Would you come over here, Jim and Jan? Come on over on this side of this pedestal and plaque so we can get a good look at you. And come on over here so we can see some of these things. Jim and Jan have some artifacts of that Dakota Territory Centennial. Jan, what do you have there?
Well, this is a shovel that Jim got at a sale, and it originally was owned by Laura Flowers of Iroquois. Right.
And these were used to dig for the gold over there that Rodney was guarding, right?
This centennial was held right over in here. And I've been looking for one of these shovels for many, many years, and this came up from the estate sale of Laura Flowers. She won $10 and a sack of flour. At the sale, I gave $60 for that shovel, which I would have gone higher at the time, but that was it.
That's great.
I have a Dakota Territorial Centennial booklet here.
So that's the program today.
Then I have a Centennial gold coin. It's an 1861 to an 1961. Then I have two bumper stickers that say Dakota Territory Centennial, and the other was a Kelloland Gold Rush, August 26th, 27th of 1961.
And among the people who were here, old Lawrence Welk was here. Do you guys remember Lawrence Welk?
Yes, Lawrence Welk was here, also Joe Feeney, Clint Eastwood, Rowdy Yates Wishbone, and Captain 11. And they had a talent contest. The Onbaugh sisters from Iroquois won the talent contest, and they got to go on to the Ted Mack Original Amateur Hour. I think it was in New York, if I remember correctly. Yeah. So I guess that's about it for me then.
And the Onbaughs were
They won the talent contest with their baton twirling. I want to thank everybody for coming.
This is just great. Thank you so much. Thank you, Rodney. Thank you, Bose. It's so good to be with you and good to have you here. Now we want to go over to the next monument item, and this is a bench over here that's dedicated to the town hall and the town pump. And Sharon Scheller, are you here? And then we'd like Herman Blody to join us up here also. And it's actually this monument item right back here dedicated to the town hall and the town pump. So while Sharon and Herman are coming up here, let me just read you what it says. It says, the Manchester Town Hall and Town Pump were two places where everyone gathered. And this monument stands at the site of the Town Hall, which hosted spirited elections, meetings, dances, carnivals, and basketball games. And the town pump, located in the middle of the main street, was the primary source of water for many years. And this semicircular monument, as we said earlier, this pad represents Manchester's circle of friends and neighbors, always open to newcomers. Come on out here so everybody can see you a little bit better. We know the bench is back there, but Sharon, you are from Minnesota, right?
That's correct.
And you tell me how you became such a fan of Manchester.
Well, I came out here looking for Laura Ingalls Wilder, and after a couple trips, I saw Harvey Dunn's name all over the place. So I walked up to Aubrey Sherwood's office and said, "What can you tell me about Harvey Dunn?" And he said, "How many days do you have?" And that very day, Aubrey and Laura took me out to Manchester, showed me where Carrie Ryland lived, and took me to the Dow Cemetery. And we drove around Manchester, and I fell in love with Manchester. And I can't explain why, but I come here about 4 times a year now, and I was devastated like all of you were when the town blew away. But previously to that, I had taken some pictures of the old buildings that were standing, and I made them into a calendar thinking that they aren't here anymore, and maybe people would like to see them. And my husband, I dragged my husband, he's here down over there, and he and my sister and I cleaned up the Dow Cemetery a couple years ago, And now it's gone back to nature, of course, and the badgers. But I just love this area. I love the people here. It's like this is home for me.
Yeah, right.
Home away from home.
Exactly.
And I come out here every time I'm here to take sunset pictures. And I thought, now I can sit here and take sunset pictures. So.
Sharon, thank you so much. Thank you so much for sponsoring this bench, and it's sponsored, by the way. It's dedicated to Tom, Bersha, and those were the parents of Harvey and Roy Dunn, and Carrie Dunn Reland. And also dedicated to all Manchester pioneers. Thank you so much. And then we have Herman here again, our ribbon cutter. And Herman, you remember a lot about the town hall and the town pump. Tell us one story about either one.
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank whoever that picked me to cut the ribbon. That's quite an honor. I was lucky enough to grow up in Manchester. I spent the first 18 and a half years of my life here. And Dad had a gas station, grocery store, which you bought from your dad, and a beer joint down across the highway. And we didn't have any water. I carried water from the town pump. First of all, a couple pails in the little red wagon, and finally a couple pails on a bicycle. But I pumped that pump thousands of strokes. And it was a great place. I'll tell one quick story. My cousin Larry, who's here today, had
where are you?
Had a bicycle that had a little gas engine on. And one day we were going up Main Street about as fast as it would go. And Larry was driving, I was riding on it. We made a U-turn around the town pump and went over.
No kidding.
And the exhaust pipe landed on my hand, and it didn't feel real good. But
oh my God.
That's one town pump story.
That's a great story. Larry, was that a Maytag? What washing machine did you get that motor from?
That was a Whizzer motorbike.
Oh, that was a Whizzer motorbike. Oh my gosh, I thought you got that motor off a washing machine. Some people did that. They took them off the washing machine and put them on the bike.
Maytag washer.
Yeah, you got a Maytag bike. Yeah. Thank you so much, and thank you so much for your sponsorship. Yes.
I have one more thing to say. My husband and I visited Harvey M. Dunn this winter down in Arizona, and he wanted to come so bad today. This is Harvey Dunn's nephew, Roy's son, and he's 90 years old now, but still going strong, and he really wanted to be here, and he sends his love. And
we're going to go to the Manchester Tornado pedestal and plaque, and Rex and Lynette, could you join us again over here? And then Stephen Bechtel. Where are you, Steve? Stephen? Would you come up here too, Stephen? Where is Stephen? There it comes, Stephen, right over there. This is the pedestal and plaque, and this is sponsored by Gordon Ravenberg. Gordon couldn't be with us today. He lives over in Minnesota, over in the Twin Cities area. But he was the sponsor of this piece right here, and it talks about the Manchester tornado that hit about 7:30 p.m. on Tuesday, June 24th, 2003. And it's not easy for people who went through that storm to talk about it. It's really difficult. Come on over, Stephen. But here is a family that went through that storm, Rex and Lynette Geyer and their kids, and come on in a little tighter. And this is Stephen Bechtel. And Steve, would you first tell us how you happen to be here?
Well, I'm working with Tim Samaras, who is the tornado researcher who happened to be here and do a measurement of this storm for the first time ever. And he and I are collaborating on a book for National Geographic.
So you're doing a book, and it will include information about the Manchester tornado.
Right.
And we had the lowest air pressure, the greatest drop in air pressure. Is that right? Would you explain that so that we can understand?
Well, I'm a journalist, not a meteorologist, but suffice it to say that although this tornado was a tragedy here, it made a significant contribution to science. And Tim's work and the work of many other tornado researchers in the future will help to increase the warning time and perhaps help us understand how these things operate.
Have you all met? Have you met Rex and Lynette?
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
And you'll, I'm sure, be talking later because Stephen is doing the book. But I wanted to, if you wouldn't mind, just to recount as you think back to that day, the things that you're very thankful for.
Well, I'm thankful that we actually seen it coming, and we're able to, get out of its path, because it was, quite severe. As I'm standing here, looking off to the south, seeing those trees down there. So it's a mile down there. And
that's about how far it was away when you discovered it. Yeah, and we are so grateful. I think as we think about the things we're thankful for, we are all of us who are connected with this town are thankful for the judgments you all made on that day when that storm was coming, because you breathe so much life into this community, and thank you so very, very much, and thanks for sharing with us today. And I know it's just not an easy thing to talk about, but thank you, and thanks to the kids' names are Lynette. The kids' names are.
This is Heather, and that's Haley.
And you gave them some nicknames too, didn't you?
Well, they're Twister twins and Stormy and Twister and all sorts of names.
Well, they're great. How about a big round of applause for the Geyers and for Stephen Bechtel. And thanks so much for coming up and sharing with us. And thanks, Stephen, for your being here. And give our best to Tim Samaras. Tim has been so close as we've worked on this project, because he was, as Stephen said, the researcher who was here following that tornado that day. And now we're coming to another of these pedestals and plaques. We might want to move this lectern over just a little bit. This is the one devoted to Harvey Dunn and Grace Ingalls Dow. And let me turn my page here. This is sponsored by Bill and Ruby Palmland Maley. That Palmland is a famous Manchester name. Ruby, are you, I know you're here because I talked with you earlier. Where is Ruby? Ruby, would you join us? And Galen Wallum. Galen, you're right there. Would you come on over? Ruby, come on up. Thank you so much for sponsoring this plaque that recounts some of the history of Harvey Dunn and Grace Ingalls Dow. Come on over here just a step. Now, you grew up in this area, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I was born in not too far from my parents' home. I mean, it was their home then,
sure,
but from where we lived later on.
Would you give us a little bit of the history of how your parents got here, where they came from when they came to Manchester?
Well, my parents both came from Denmark. My father came first, and then later on my mother came too, but they weren't married before she came over. They got married in Irene. Yeah, so, my dad had a couple of farms, but he did good even after the drought.
Do you remember the streets of Manchester?
Well, I went to high school down there for 3 years.
At Manchester High School?
Yeah, for 3 years, rode my bike every day. And what did you want me to remember about it?
Do you remember the grocery stores and
yeah.
Do you remember the restaurant?
Town pump? No, I don't remember any restaurant.
Yeah, but you remember the town pump?
Yeah.
That's great. Right. And would you introduce this person who's right next to you here?
Well, this is my daughter, Kathleen Smith.
Kathleen, it's so good of you to be here.
Thanks. I always like coming back to South Dakota. We spent a lot of time on my grandma and grandpa Peter and Hansine Palmland's farm, and we had 13 cousins out here, so I'm always happy to come home.
And today you live in?
New Mexico.
What part of New Mexico?
Northern part, up close to Espanola.
Oh, that's great. And you came here just for this event. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you for sponsoring this wonderful pedestal and plaque. And just to show you that this town, you can stay with us for a minute if you'd like, that this little town spawns artists. This, ladies and gentlemen, is Galen Wallum. How about a round of applause for Galen Wallum, one of our more recent Manchester artists. And Galen, you have paintings hanging in public buildings and in private homes and so on, all over the world in many ways, right?
Right. I sold people like the Marriott Hotel people that own all the motels and several very wealthy people throughout the nation.
And your folks were?
Alfred and Muriel Wall.
And they lived right down on the corner over here, and so you're a Manchester kid.
Yeah, right. I was raised in the section a mile south here till the house blew up in 1959, then we moved to Wallam's Corner.
Tell me, just think with us. What is it about this place? What is it about this land? What is it about this sky? What is it about the air we breathe and the soil on which we walk that inspires artists?
Well, the stories I got from the homesteaders' kids, like my granddad and all the others of that era, that's where I kind of picked up on and wanted to paint that spirit and keep it alive.
That's just terrific. And Galen has some of his paintings on display right up the middle of Main Street. Thank you all so much for joining us, and thank you so much for your sponsorship of these wonderful items.
When my sister went to high school, she rode a horse down to Manchester High School from our farm.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
So she rode a horse all the way over here. Oh my gosh. How many miles?
Well, it was about 2.5 miles.
And how many horsepower did that horse have?
Well, I never did hear that.
Okay. Thank you so much. And then we have this final piece here, and this is the Manchester monument stone that has all of the family names. And this is my sister and I sponsored this stone. We decided we'd do that first thing, and we thought, well, we'll try to get things going, and if we aren't able to raise the funds, we'll at least have this part of it, And then, of course, the miracle happened, and we have all of the rest of these wonderful things that are included here in this Manchester monument because of your generosity. But we've dedicated it to future generations in memory of Harv and Lucy Marks and the extended Marks family. So if we could have the Marks gang come up here, anybody who's part of the extended Marks family. Verlin, you're here. Darlene is here. Here's Daniel. I don't know, is Heather and Julian over here? Oh, and we've got the newest member of the Marks family, Julian, and he was born in August of 2006, so he's about 10 months old, and he's over here snoozing. And we have some other Markses here. Here is Verlin Pollock, Verlin Marks Pollock, and Vicky Pollock over here, and we have Darlene Marks Heitland. And these are Herb's kids, and this is one of Verlin's kids over here. And just to give you some idea of what we have here, as I'm sure you, and Betty Marks. This is, do any of you remember Ken Marks and Ken and Betty? I'm sure you do. I know Ken Strickler's here, and they're really good friends. This is Betty Marks, and Ken was with us through the Korean War, and when did we lose Ken?
10 years ago.
Yeah, been 10 years. That's just amazing. Well, on this stone, we have all of the names we could identify. There are about 507 names of people we could identify going back to homesteading. And they're listed not in alphabetical order, as we said earlier, so that we can add names and they won't be beyond the letter Z as we discover more names in the future. And then Daniel, our son Daniel, come on over. We have a couple of kids. One is Daniel, the other is John. John lives out in L.A. with his wife Ramona, and Daniel with his wife Heather and son Julian in Arlington, Virginia. And how many years ago was it that you wrote that piece on a travel guide to Manchester?
Probably about 10.
About 10 years ago, Daniel wrote a piece called A Travel Guide to Manchester, South Dakota. And kind of based on the premise that if you fly over Manchester, you might look down from 30,000 feet and say, well, that's in the middle of nowhere. So he was trying to make the point that there is is a lot of somewhere in what some people identify as the middle of nowhere. Would you share just a couple of brief paragraphs from that piece? And this was written how many years ago?
About 10 years ago.
10 years ago.
Starting out, every population, even Manchester's population, which consists of about 10 or so people, has its champions and its legends. A couple of them come to mind. There was the strapping 91-year-old man who spent a summer on a little improvement project jacking 3/4 of a mile of old barbed wire fence out of one of his fields. The year before, at 90, he took time to reshingle his garage. There's also the big, kind-hearted man who rescued a dozen stranded motorists from blizzard conditions and impassable roads on Highway 14, then fed them a hot dinner and put them all up for the night.
Who would that have been?
That would have been Noel Toberman. Manchester has no shopping, but it does have attractions. Once or twice a day, maybe even more, a low, distant rumble overpowers the hushed whoosh of cars and trucks passing on the highway. In the distance, moving either west to east or vice versa, appears a large, lighted lump on the horizon, spewing dark smoke. The rumble grows as a slow-moving freight train approaches, either empty or loaded down with grain, stone, or coal. Standing near the tracks as the train approaches, one can feel the ground shake and see the immensity of the giant steel engines, which often pull as many as 100 minions in tow. The aging tracks that slice between Manchester and the highway require the train to move slowly. Under them, the ground is soft, causing megaton train cars and boxcars to rock side to side like boats. Engine rumble gives way to the clacking sound of the remaining cars passing dutifully by, creating rhythms on the seams, gaps, and imperfections of the rails. Railroad traditionalists may be disappointed to learn that cabooses, once the haven of waving railroad workers drinking coffee, no longer follow the trains. The receding tail end of a boxcar provides none of the caboose's same quaint charm.
Thank you so much, Daniel. So this is the Marks crowd here, and it's just terrific. Thank you so much, Daniel. And thank you. And I want to recognize Judy. If you got your certificate thanking you for your contribution, Judy created those, and your name tags and the programs and all the rest. So my wife, Judy. So thank you very much, Judy. Thank you all so much. And Lauren Moore, I know we started a little late and we're running a little late. I apologize for that. But Lauren is going to share with us and recognize the patrons of the project. So, Lauren, it's yours.
Thank you, Gary. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's indeed an honor and a privilege to be a part and share in the dedication of the Manchester Monument. On behalf of the Advisory Building Council for the Manchester Monument, I wish to present the patrons of the Manchester Monument. These are the names of the people who give gifts to the project in the amount equivalent to $500 or more. Some of you have already met them out there. And there's some that come in since April, and their names are not on the stone yet, but they will be in the next month or two. And I guess at this time we'd like to have them patrons come up here. I'll announce their name, and we'd like to have each and every one of them here at one time. Tom Tornoff of the Harvey Dunn Grassland Preservation Project. Thank you, Tom, to you and your organization for the landscaping of the site, sowing the grass, planting the perennials, and everything else you did to beautify the area around the monument. Gordon Ravenberg. Gordon has fond memories of growing up just north of Manchester. What a special family. Yeah. Hooray for the train. We'll never forget how Bert and Doris could light up the room. Sharon Schroeder. Sharon is a Minnesotan who developed a deep love for this community and its history. We consider you very much a part of Manchester, Sharon. Thank you for your support. Let's hear a round of applause for all the patrons of the Manchester Monument. We got them all up here at one time, one place. Good enough. Is there a picture? Is there a camera in the crowd? Let's hear a round of applause for the Manager Monument Project. Their names or designations are on the west side of the main monument stone here. Some have yet to be added, those we received after April 1st, and we'll be doing this soon along with the others. We'll do that periodically, so as they come in, we'll get them on there. So it is, so it's not too late to do all that. Well, thank you all for coming up. Is that it, Gary?
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Lauren Moore, ladies and gentlemen. Now it is indeed my distinct pleasure to invite to come up here Harold and Loretta Yost and their family. And if they would come up, they're going to lead us. First, they're going to sing about 2-3 verses of America the Beautiful, and then they're going to lead all of us in the singing of another verse of America the Beautiful. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the Yost family and America the Beautiful.
Skies for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee. Sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for pilgrim feet who stern in passion stress, a thoroughfare for freedom beat across the
Magnificent. Now, would you all join the Yost family in singing the first verse again of America the Beautiful? Everyone, yeah, and the words are on the backs of your programs, the first verse of America the Beautiful.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Yost family. Wow. Magnificent. Thank you so very, very much. It's my pleasure now. Is Lisa Schulten with us? Lisa, are you here? Lisa is curator of collections. Lisa, how are you? There we are. There you are. We're so pleased you're here. And I know we're running late, and I apologize for being late. Lisa Schulten is curator of collections for the South Dakota Art Museum. And she has such great experience with the arts and with this state and with what it takes to exemplify what this area means to all of us. So Lisa, would you spend just a few minutes talking with us? Come on over here and use this if you'd like.
It's wonderful that we can all gather here today to celebrate the land and its people. One person who walked where we stand today was Harvey Dunn. Stories about his size, strength, and talent are nearly legendary among South Dakotans. In the art world, though, he is recognized as one of America's great illustrators, a talented teacher, and a war artist. Back home in South Dakota, he was known for much more. Born in 1884, Dunn was blessed with an amazing gift of documenting life of the homesteaders using oil, crayons, and chalk. At a young age, he collected vivid memories, scenes of children playing, raging blizzards. All of this he stored to his memory. Later, he would recall these images and transcribe them to the canvas. Dunn drew much inspiration from the people of Manchester and the land of Manchester. Like Hap and Arvella Llewellyn, who picked up Harvey at the train station when he returned for his annual summer visits back to his country home. And Fred Wright, the country printer, who is so inspirational that Harvey painted a portrait of him, an honor he reserved for very few people. And Aubrey Sherwood of DeSmet, who spent countless hours with Harvey during his South Dakota visits and encouraged him to participate in the Kingsbury County Old Settler celebrations. Harvey drew inspiration from the sky, land, and yes, even the harsh prairie elements. All of this helped to shape the character and the content of many of his works. To view his paintings is to view a picture to the past. As a teacher, he always told his students to paint what you know. He did just that. He painted the struggles of breaking sod, the first furrow, using a stone boat to remove the field stones left behind by the ancient glaciers. These vivid images document the challenges of early homesteading. But he also saw the beauty in the land and the people as well. In the painting, The Prairie is My Garden, he celebrates the unplanned gifts from the land through the vast array of wildflowers just waiting to be selected by the woman and her 2 children. These flowers most likely found their way into the sod house that you see in the background. And inside the house, they probably graced the table, a little bit of beauty for all to enjoy. Harvey was the type of person who told you like it was. He got straight to the point. But with his paintings, he communicated differently. He was sending a message to all of us to appreciate the beauty that surrounds us. How often has a field been planted, yield anticipated, crop harvested, and the field plowed up only to wait for the next growing season? Next time, take the time to watch the wheat ripple and the swirling winds. Listen to the rustling of the corn stalks. This was Harvey's message. Tonight, when the celebration is nearly over, I invite you to catch the sunset on the horizon as the field slowly swallows the heat of the day. The struggles of existence and survival can be balanced by the beauty that surrounds all of us. We only need to take a look. Harvey was telling each one of us, hoping that we would listen. Most of us here today, if we really did some soul searching, would agree that at one time or another, we've gone in search of a new horizon or a new beginning. Harvey Dunn did this as well. He experienced big city life in New York and New Jersey. He also lived the sheer horror of war in France. It was following his military service as a war artist in World War I that he realized that what he was searching for in life was with him all the time. The beauty of the people, the magnificence of the land that we stand on today was here, waiting for Harvey to acknowledge it. Later in life, he stated, "I prefer painting pictures of early South Dakota life to any other kind. My search for other horizons has led me around to my first. 4 years ago, the horizon of Manchester was changed forever. But through your memories and Harvey Dunn's paintings, inspired by everything and everyone that was ever here, the landscape will remain the same. Thank you very much.
Lisa, thank you so much for those wonderful thoughts.
Thank you very much.
And the people here are their own work of art.
Yes,
and
they are.
thank you so much for everything you do at the South Dakota Art Museum. Thank you so much. Lisa Schulten, ladies and gentlemen. There are just a few things that we want to do. Would Hub and Margaret Anderson and Diane Molnar please join us for just a moment? Hub and Margaret and Diane, would you come on up here for just a moment? As you might know, Hub Anderson grew up in this town, and the Andersons are among the homesteaders in Manchester. And I remember several years ago when Hub Anderson married Margaret Glover, and that was a few years back. Hub, this is your hometown, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. I was raised just 2 miles northeast of town here. I went 8 years to school here, and I can remember when there was quite a business district here.
I'll bet you got to know Harvey Dunn.
I did know him once. His sister lived down in here at Prairie Aspinwall, and he used to come out in the summertime and visit her. And my mother and Carrie belonged to the same extension club, and so in those days kids didn't have babysitters. They went with the parents sit up.
That's right. Well, this monument is a natural extension of the Laura Ingalls Wilder Trail and the Harvey Dunn Trail. And Margaret, we wanted to talk with you for just a minute. I was coming over to catch up with you, so I'll come over here. And Margaret, you're on the board of the Laura Ingalls Wilder Society, and isn't this a magnificent addition to the Laura Ingalls Wilder Trail?
Wonderful, wonderful. Yes, this is a great thing you've done, Gary.
Well, a lot of people have done this. It's just a culmination of a lot of effort by a lot of people.
I had to brainstorm it, so let's start with.
Now, what are some of the things that are going on now with the Laura Ingalls Wilder Society?
Well, this year, the Laura Ingalls Wilder Society is celebrating 50 years. They were organized in 1957, so this is their 50th year as an organization, the Laura Ingalls Wilder Memorial Society. So they've got events going on all year long. And Diane, she works closely with society, and she'd know more what's coming up.
This is Diane Molnar, ladies and gentlemen. And Diane, what are some of the upcoming events? The pageant's coming up.
Right. The pageant is the weekend right after the 4th of July, and then the next 2 weekends. And we're having a free wagon meal on the last weekend of the pageant for anybody in the community and all the visitors that come. And so that would be at the Society grounds. So be sure to come. It's the last Saturday. So we'd like to welcome everyone to that.
And you're developing a school also.
Yes, we just had the first school that Laura and her sister went to, just came to our backyard about 6 weeks ago, and so we're renovating that. The outside's pretty much done. Now the inside is what we're working on. We just need to come up with the funds, just like you did for your monument, to get that going. So.
And how can people join the Laura Ingalls Wilder Society?
You can either write or get on our website and find us. We can come to the society, and we do have memberships that you can purchase for like a year, 3 years, or lifetimes.
And your website is?
www.discoverlaura.org.
Discoverlaura.org. Thank you all so very, very much for being here. How about Margaret Anderson, Diane Molnar, and now would Loretta Yost would come back for just a moment. Loretta, I want to talk with her about this just briefly. We're going to wrap up here in a few minutes. But Loretta, it was the day before that storm struck your farm home?
Yes, I think it was the day before. That's why I remember it.
And you wrote a piece about phlox blooming in Manchester, about those beautiful purple flowers.
That's right. I've always been impressed about the phlox in Manchester.
And what happened to that piece that you wrote?
Part of it's right here.
Right. But you had it on an end table, and it just blew away.
It blew away. Yes, it blew away. I had it on the table, and I was getting ready to print it in a little family newspaper the next day, and it blew away. So I had to
kind of think what I had written, and I think I got most of it.
Would you share that with us? And this is the piece that she wrote, that Loretta wrote, like the day before their farm home blew away in the tornado, and recomposed it for us.
Where the purple phlox blooms. Manchester is a little village 2 miles south of us. From our house, we see its trees dark against the skyline. The glory days of the little town are long past. The business places of years gone by are only memories in the hearts of those who remember them. And most of the old memories lie asleep under the prairie sky as seasons come and go. Where the church used to be, the wild grasses grow. Cattle range on the old schoolyard. Among the empty lots, there are a few houses where families still live. For them, it's home. They see Manchester for what it is, but also what it used to be. However many the changes over the years, one thing remains constant. Each June, the wild phlox blooms. The beautiful purple color dazzles the eyes. You see the blossoms under the ancient trees, around the shadowed remains of weathered buildings, near the street as it passes the old town pump, and along the fence rows. Manchester has seen many changes, but one thing will never change. Each year in June, the purple phlox will bloom once again.
That is just magnificent. Thank you, Loretta. Loretta Yost. There is something in the land, there's something in the sky that encourages us to write and to paint and to think and to provide leadership that goes way beyond this town, and it's a magnificent thing. What we want to do now is honor the person who indeed has built this monument, and that's Harold Yost. Harold's family and our family have known each other for a long, long time, and we used to visit, occasionally we'd have 10, 15 minutes to visit, but more often we'd come to the end of a field, and in the windrow or the combine or something like that, we'd wave at each other across the fence. One of us would be driving up a dusty road, the other people would be out knocking down the grain or plowing a field, and we'd wave at each other from the road. And then this opportunity to build a monument came along, and of course their farm went, and Harold and I visited, as did others in the community, and Harold Yost is a master stonemason, among other things. He is the one who put all of this together. His ideas are everywhere in this monument. He is the artist. He is not only a stonemason, but he is an artist of the highest sense who built this monument. I would like to have all of us give a rousing ovation to Harold Yost, ladies and gentlemen. Harold, please join us. I think everyone likes the monument, Harold. There's one thing about Harold, Loretta, and their family. They never want recognition, but they're so gracious in accepting our thanks. And Harold, we thank you from the bottoms of our hearts for all you've done to inspire all of us. Thank you so very, very much. And this is just a small token of our appreciation. And I can tell you that we're thinking of other things, but this is as far as we got today. And it's just a thank you certificate for what you've done to build this monument. And at this point, we would like to hear what Harold has to say, what his thoughts are about this monument. Harold?
Thank you, Gary. I'm going to just step over here. First of all, I would like to say that to thank Gary and Judy for their enthusiasm for the cause of this monument. They have done a very good job of supplying us with the money, and every time I got a little bit discouraged, all I need to do is call Gary, and I got my courage back. Anyway, what I'd like to say about what it means to me, I'd like to tell a few little stories, and then about my neighbors. 2 miles north of me, and one would be Harvey Marks here, which would be Gary's father. Merle Bowes, he drove in the yard one evening and a brand new pickup, dark green pickup. I wish I remembered the year, but I didn't. Anyway, we was walking around the pickup and admiring it, you know, like we do new things, you know, we nice and shiny, we like new things. And Merle was getting ready to drive home, and I told him, you're going to enjoy your new pickup. He says, I'll enjoy everything but one thing, he says. When I go to Huron, he says, I got to stop at Wallen's Corner to fill up with gas to get there, he said. Anyway, I thought about it a little bit, and I figured the price of gas then and the pickup. Today, I suppose we're paying probably 3 times more for gas and 3 times more for our pickups, and we're still not doing any better on gas. So we haven't helped ourselves too much. And this one about Harvey Marks, I was out working one morning, and I got stuck. I guess I got a little too close to the mud hole. Anyway, I looked at my time, and it was I figured it was almost 12, so I went home, and I thought when I get back I'll unhook the machine and then I'll drive out. But you know, as I went home to eat and come back and I unhooked the machine, I got about 3 feet further than what I was, but it didn't help me much. Anyway, about then Harvey drove by, and like Gary said, I waved at him and he waved at me, and I didn't think any more of it. That was my neighbor, you know. He went over about a half a mile north and he unhooked his machine, and I didn't see what he was doing, but all of a sudden he drove in there and he got his chain out and hooked on, and he pulled me out of the mud and helped me pull my machine out of the mud, and he went home. I mean, he's on his way back. I went to the tractor and I says, Harvey, I'd sure like to pay you for this. No, he says, I'm not going to take pay. He says, I might need help someday too. Those kind of deeds of kindness and sharing and caring, I don't forget. And I hope all of us don't. And now what the monument means to me, first of all, it is a memorial to those that were our forefathers, pioneers we might even say, that began settling here. They went through many hardships, they went through many disappointments, but they was there paving the way for those that followed, which means a lot to me. And then these 2 gentlemen that I talked about, it's a memorial to them too. Merle's was a little humorous, Harvey's was a kind deed of act, but both of them really helps to make a nice community to live in. And let's bring it right down to our day and age here now, those of us that are living. You know, they have left us an example and a pattern to follow. It is our responsibility to do that. And we will have something to pass on to our children, something that the children can build on. And as I think about that night of June 24, I want to say something about that. That was a very stormy night, and I have made the statement, if you didn't see a tornado, you wasn't out watching. Anyway, as the time went on, you know, we was all spared, and that was God's providential care over us. There was, by all rights, and the way things happened, it could have easily been a lot different than what it was. And I just want to thank God. Let's bring it right down to our day here today. We are here because God has spared our lives and has kept us and given us a chance to enjoy this day together. God has not placed us in this earth to live selfishly for ourselves. We are supposed to share with our fellow men and help care for one another, those that need help. And when Gary and me come here that day, about a year and 2 months ago, we stood right out here in front. And we established a dream there that day, and something that we wanted. We agreed. And I had a little thought myself. I thought we was going to just build a little 3 by 3 or 4 by 4 pedestal there with Manchester on it to tell what happened to it. But when I got together with Gary, I soon found out that that wasn't quite that way. Anyway, I listened to him and I said, we got a good idea here, but I said, where are we going to get the money? Oh, he didn't say it in these words, but he told me I didn't need to worry about that. He'd take care of that. And it has been a real blessing. Today that dream has come true, and it's become a reality. And we hope it inspires many of you. I see by the crowd, I believe that it is inspiring many of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Harold Yost. He just told us something very, very important. Whatever we can dream, we can do.
From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans wide with foam, God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Thank you so very much. Let's hear it for Jessica Bose-Rude. Great job. Thank you so very, very much. Just a few words in wrapping up today, because we have story time that's going to begin in about 40 minutes or so. Lunch will be served right over here. It's available for purchase from the Kingsbury County Cattlemen's Association. In the next tent down, there are exhibits of pictures. There are some pins that you can purchase if you want to get extra pins. There are calendars. There are history books that are down there, and you can just have a wonderful time. And most of all, you're going to be visiting with each other, which is the greatest thing of all. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here today, and we want you to come back to the big tent for storytelling this afternoon.
You don't get off that easy, Gary.
All right.
We got one more presentation, please. Lynn and Diane Perry, if you will.
Is that the old school bell from the Manchester?
Yeah, it just happens to be. I carry it around with me quite a bit.
Oh my gosh.
Wait a minute there.
Just wait a second, you'll find out. It's amazing what we see here today and what we saw 4 years ago. And we saw all your visions here that you had, and we have a plaque here for you today.
Oh, thank you so much. Oh, what a... that's the last... Oh, my goodness. Oh, my gosh.
In appreciation to Gary Marks for continuing the spirit of Manchester through the creation of the Manchester Monument. Though the tornado took our town, it can't take our spirit. What a legacy you have leaving through your time, energy, talent, and funds. In the early years, you were outstanding in your field. Right out here, because this is where Harvey's folks live. Throughout the years, you have become outstanding in your field, in your work and your vision. Now with your vision, you are literally outstanding in your field again today.
Thank you so much, Lynn. Oh, my God. Thank you so much. I'm the last person who deserves this. All of you deserve this. So this is for all of us. Thank you for everything you've done to make this monument possible. We sang God Bless America, God Bless Manchester. Thank you so much. Have a great lunch. We'll see you back here at about 1:30. Oh, my.